There we go. Maybe you can do a space here. Yeah, nice, nice, nice. All right, we are headed then. Welcome to game number 1 of the quarterfinals between Captain Alex here as the Infernal on the lower left versus his opponent, Lizzergas on the upper right. An Infernal versus Infernal matchup. Lizzergas is going to be opening up with a Conclave and I'll guess an Item Vault as well. And we have the classic cut through for the Conclave and Item Vault. I will need to make a tank emote eventually. I'll need to find out how. I'm not particularly good at it, so I'll see what I can do. I promise I'll give you tank emote at some point. Maybe for Americas I'll have an emote up because I do have the image. But we do have Lizzergas using a build that Theory had been using quite a lot, which is to open up with a Shroud Stone in the middle to kind of get both of the resources up here as fast as possible. Checking with the Fiends if there has been a pull yet. Doesn't seem like there is one, but there's gonna be one very soon. The Brute and the Gaunt are right there. He's gonna finish scouting here. Gonna see the Shroud Stone, the meat farm, explore the base, see that there are 10 and 2, 10 and 1, potentially too soon, and actually gets the kill on one of the little imps. That is a fantastic kill for Lizzergas. He's actually gonna get a second one and not lose his Fiends. He will lose one in a moment though, but they have done immense amount of damage. Very well done by Lizzergas. Those two little Fiends have been critical in getting a small economic advantage restored. On the other side, you have Captain Alex grabbing the Vision Camp as well as the Speed Camp, and now he's gonna try to sneak in a couple of Fiends into his opponent base. He does get a Gaunt for the kill. There is a Brute hanging around, and it is gonna get tapped a few times, but nothing too serious at the moment. And now here comes trouble when the Fiends get into the Luminite line. They won't deal a lot of damage, and actually one of them goes down before any of the imps. A second one and probably a third. Indeed, it does. Now, a big fight here coming in with Captain Alex, sending a Brute, a couple of Fiends over through to that area, and the Gaunt advantage is showing up here by being able to bounce those axes over 3 different opponents. He's actually dealing quite a bit of damage with that. He's gonna give up the map control, Lizzergas, but perhaps he has enough to fight this back in due time. There is a Shroud Stone in the middle, which Captain Alex could look to try and fight against, but that could also spell disaster for him if he's caught off guard. He's going to be checking the third, no third, and not go through, so no chance to sneak through and get into the main base. The speed camp on the right side of the map has not been taken yet, and I think that is something Captain Alex is looking to get for himself. It is a couple more Fiends that can always help out in a fight, and the vision camp at the bottom will also allow him to spot where Lizzergas is planning to move around the base. He's actually going for the third now as well, so he's going to be fully on 2 extra bases over Lizzergas. That is a big economic advantage, or actually he took the third before the natural expansion. Corrected myself there. A little fight for the creep camp. Captain Alex is feeling a little bit better about this engagement over our friend Lizzergas. Lizzergas needs to find a way to most likely deny as much as possible, but with the infest going down onto the speed camp first on the side of Captain Alex, it is going to be very difficult to truly deny it, because the Fiends that spawn are going to be spawning for the side of Captain Alex, and in the full frontal engagement, it is going to be Captain Alex pulling out on top with a couple of Gaunts advantage, and the Fiends getting prepped up. It is going to be a quick work to now finish off the speed camp, have even more Fiends for future engagement, and at this point, Lizzergas has to be thinking, well, I'm on 1 base, what am I going to do? He'll probably have to move on to a 2nd base, because that is definitely something that has just happened for Captain Alex. So Captain Alex is going to be booming quite a bit, and he has enough of an army to actually protect himself over the next few matches. I'm just going to check that everybody else is doing well. Since I'm still the admin, I still have to check that nobody is in any trouble and needs my help. But going back into the game, we can see now getting the heal camp. One of the advantages of the healing camp near your opponent base is not only that you get more aggression down onto your opponent by healing your units and rotating them out as you're progressing through this area, but you also get a secondary advantage, which is the Ethereum that you're able to extract from it. And that can help a lot when you are going up and preparing for a Doombringer drop. So here we see some preparations being made. Surprisingly, no second base yet, just now going down, but it is very much exposed, and you can see here the gun drop gonna be happening on the background very soon. The expansion is very low health. It will get canceled right before the drop goes down, and here we see a massive gun drop, 8 full gun drops here. The Felhawks are going to provide a nice base to start out this engagement of Fiends, and now more imps falling down and becoming Fiends themselves. The main base, if the Greater Shrine falls, it is going to be a massive blow to Lizzergas' game plan, and I think Lizzergas is going to have to tap out here in a moment. He's most definitely outplayed in this first game, the opening game of the best of 3. So there is still a lot of opportunities for Lizzergas to decide what he wants to do next, where he wants to take it. And we see the GG. We're going to be heading out of the game with our friend Captain Alex taking the first game and moving on to the next match. So we'll go ahead and check on our players, see if they need anything from me at this moment. If they're sharing the next code. But yeah, great series by Captain Alex. I know the score is not perfect right now. Let me toggle that one. Swoop. That'll do it. And we'll go to Secluded next. So our next map is going to be Secluded Grove. Another thing worth noting is that I believe Lizzergas is from the US, so he's having to play on European ping and European servers for TANC, because this is the Alpha Navigators Cup, Europe and Africa. So of course that is what you have to do. No Jagged Maw Clowntown, if you know. Oh, Jay, thank you for the raid. Thank you so much for the raid, Jay. I hope one day I get to see you. I think you are. Are you registered for Americas? You should register for Americas or for APAC. There's going to be one next week, so you should definitely jumping into that one. It is a good, nice little bit of fun. We're here casting the top 8 of TANC. Welcome everybody from the raid. We're going to be jumping into game number 2 between Lizzergas and Captain Alex. I'll actually go ahead and swap these guys over again, because it is going to be Captain Alex, who is playing as Photon Cannon Enjoyer. Is the tourney? Yeah, it's in Tourney General. You can go ahead and check it there, Jay, and you can also do, if you want to register for Americas, which is in a few hours, you can go to that link. And if you want to register for APAC next week, I don't know where you're from, like if you are in the US or in Korea or whatever, but that is the one for next week as well. Yeah, you can register for Americas just fine. You can register for any of them. It just means that you won't have lobby advantage, right? But we're heading now into game number 2, Secluded Grove, between Captain Alex and Lizzergas. And we'll see what the action awaits. So we're jumping in. Into game number 2 between Captain Alex, Infernals, on the bottom left of the map, and his opponent, Lizzergas, on the top right for the Alpha Navigators Cup, EMEA number 9. It is the first tank of the season, of the first season at least, and we'll be watching these players with great care and see where they go. So a double conclave opening for the side of Captain Alex, and on the other side it is going to be an item vault and a conclave here on Secluded. Both players are going to be looking to have some early aggression. We've actually seen some incredible games happening on TANC and in other tournaments with the speed camps on either side of the map. You can obviously also make a cut through. And I think more players have become more and more accustomed and familiar with the idea of going for the resource camps as well. Just sneaking in a couple of fiends, maybe a gaunt or two, and trying to grab this. Particularly Vanguard players, of course. No Vanguards in the server except for me right now. But we'll have to see how they decide to develop. A double conclave opening is a little bit risky when your opponent is going with an item vault, because those little fiends, they can be, well, quite fiendish. You can see right now they get a kill on one of the gaunts, and the other gaunt will probably go down. No kills. Those fiends are getting away with 7 health, and they kill 2 gaunts. That is 50 Therium, completely thrown into the trash. From that alone, it's obviously not the type of start that you want to have if you are Captain Alex, but it is exactly what you want if you're Lizzergas. You're a map down. You definitely want to be taking. You definitely want to be taking the win here. And I just realized that the scores were not showing. So fixed. So now onto the speed camps for both players. Lizzergas obviously has a reasonable advantage here, given that he didn't have to spend a gaunt before. Oh, and he gets another gaunt from Captain Alex. He's just completely harassing Captain Alex in this particular area of the map at the moment. That's in all sorts of trouble as well. We'll have to see how this develops. Using the imp as a sort of aggro taker, a tank at this very moment, and now finally being able to fully kill the speed camp. But you can see that the Lizzergas, although slow, he doesn't have to worry as much. For a tank imp, very well done, Garlic. Indeed, it is a tank imp. You can see the little tank imp is also gonna get a cut through here, going for the resource camps as well. And he might even, Captain Alex might even look to fully push on here and clean out this area. It could happen. And indeed, there is a cut through onto the speed camp. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, checking for this speed camp, is not gonna see anything. Lizzergas, and I wonder if he's gonna get an inkling of this strategy. If he's gonna be thinking to himself, you know what, I'm expanding. I think my opponent is expanding as well, but I don't see him taking his speed camps. He is gonna take it for himself, but here comes a little group of fiends. They're gonna take the health camp, heal back up. There are quite a few very low health. You wanna take one of your gaunts and probably have it be the tank gaunt on this one. Gonna lose 2 fiends in this fight, maybe 3. Indeed, he loses 3. On the other side, Lizzergas is just farming these speed camps. Both armies are in quite an aggressive position, and the Shroud Stones are just now being propped up. There's actually very little in terms of defenses for the side of Captain Alex. If right now a huge wave of little fiends decides to run in, most of them are gonna get killed by the Shroudstone towers as they advance. But there could be a play here to get them through into the main and cause a lot of problems. So the gaunts are gonna get killed very, very quickly. Now onto the Shroudstone, targeting the weakest units, but it only gets one of the fiends. The rest of the imps are gonna try to escape, but they are just gonna become 3 more fiends. And on the other side, it seems like Captain Alex tried to have an engagement of his own, but the Shroudstone on the expansion was much more well placed. A Doombringer drop is going to be delayed thanks to this aggression, so that is something that Lizzergas is probably feeling quite well about, because the last time he was dropped on game 1, that made it game over for him. Instead, he has to deal with the aggression here, keeping the Doombringer locked in, and Shroudstone Tower on the outside of the natural is going to stop any reinforcement and clean out the remaining forces for Lizzergas. And now Lizzergas back onto the defensive. He has to be thinking, knowing in many ways that there is a Doombringer drop coming. There is going to be a way for Captain Alex to crunch onto his opponent. Goes for the Shroudstone Tower on the expansion and includes another conclave, the second one of this map that he's gonna throw down. No vision cams taken for either, so he doesn't have any intel that this is coming from this area. The Shroudstone is halfway there when it comes down, but it'll be harassed and a manifestation goes down to protect it. Both Shroudstones will remain there, and they are more than enough to stop a single drop. So now it's down to the expansion, but nothing to be gained from it. Lizzergas is going to wave off the first of the Doombringers, but there could be more coming. Shadowclef now in production for the side of our friend Captain Alex, and Lizzergas too. Both players playing something of a mirror match, but it seems like Lizzergas is a little bit more tempted by staying on the ground and not actually trying to go for a Doombringer just yet. Welcome, Kairos, welcome. Now off to the Vision Camp, and we can see what Captain Alex has in mind. He's going to be taking the middle camp with the Doombringer. If there is no Doombringer for the side of Lizzergas, well then, he's going to be feeling quite happy about that. Meat farms and defensive positions coming down now. We'll have to see what happens here. And there's actually an expansion by Captain Alex going on the top left of the map. Same thing on the bottom right for Lizzergas. So we have to be thinking about 1, 2, 3, 4 bases going up on the side of Captain Alex, and 3 bases on the side of Lizzergas. Obviously, Lizzergas bases are a little bit, you know, exposed in a way. The middle one for Captain Alex is technically exposed, but it also has a nice little forest around it to protect it, and it could be, it is indeed, the Fiend saw the expansion going up, so his big army, Captain Alex's big army, is going to be able to make its way into his engagement if he wants to. He has enough for a drop plus an engagement up front, and now Lizzergas is scouting the third, but he won't see that there is a third. He should know that there is either an expansion here or one in the middle. And now it comes down to whether or not he wants to take on this engagement. Both armies are well prepared here, going into the hidden forest up here to try and keep itself safe. Here comes a drop with 2 Magmadons. They're gonna trample almost immediately, and they have the upgrade to stun. Trample in return for the side of Lizzergas, but it doesn't get anything, and now the Doombringer can walk away, feeling proud of his job. Doombringer on the side of Lizzergas, tempted to drop a Magmadon on the pool of guns that is down in the low ground, but it will reject that theory and move on to the next stage. With 2 Magmadons ready to drop somewhere. He just needs to find a good location to deal as much damage as possible. And of course, Captain Alex is thinking to himself, well, I've got to do something. In comes a Shroudstone manifestation that pushes away the Doombringer. And Doombringer pops down just in time to get both Magmadons down and trampling, and that creates chaos in the gun lines of Lizzergas. Gets a good number of kills. That'll keep him... It'll keep things going here for Captain Alex and Lizzergas. Welcome Defiance, welcome in, and indeed, very nice place to keep everything alive. And now Captain Alex is looking to drop another 2 Magmadons onto the fight. One of them tramples first. It will go deep into the opponent's Magmadons. Infernal Round now going through. It only gets a couple. and they keep advancing on forward. Captain Alex looks to be in a really good position. He's been able to defend this middle side of the map, and that is certainly giving him the allowance to continue expanding. He has effectively 2 expansion over his opponent, although he's not fully mining the central one just yet. It seems like the Lizzergas wants to expand into the little cubby expansion, but he's not going to be able to. This bottom one is going to have a pool of Magmadons come down in just a second, while the middle of the base is being threatened still. The Doombringer comes back, and the Magmadon numbers are certainly on the side of Captain Alex at this point. A big engagement here could mean it all, and there are a bunch of little imps advancing. If I had to wager, they are not going to the central mineral line. This will be a push to try and get some flanking flaming imps onto the side of the Lizzergas, unless they are moving towards the central base, but it seems like they were just moving in the direction they weren't still into it. But that middle base is going to be critical here. Big fight coming up. A Magmadon drop into the middle of the bunch could be very bad here. It splits the units. The army split now, with the Gauns moving to one side, the Magmadons and the Brute to the other. A number of imps caught in the crossfire, and the Vision Camp is going to be taken by the side of Captain Alex. That is going to be good information going forward, as it provides him with all of the intel that he needs to see that there is no third coming. It's just those 2 bases, and he actually is letting this base go for a little bit, but it might not be enough. An attack on the back gets cut off here, and Captain Alex is just smothering our friend Lizzergas in this fight. He has an overwhelming army that Lizzergas cannot engage head on at this moment, and a Doombringer drop also threatened on the high ground. Captain Alex is playing this a little bit worried. He doesn't want to face a frontal engagement full on yet. He actually decides to go for the healing camp instead. Won't be using any abilities for that one, but it gives the Lizzergas just a little bit more time with expansions that are in dangerous positions but not actually being aggroed at the moment. More defensive structures coming down for the side of Lizzergas. He's thinking about moving out, but it is going to be a challenging thing. Going for the Vision Camp. And now trying to secure, Lizzergas is trying to secure his natural third base, but that is going to get denied every single time, especially with the Vision Camp going up. It just means the imps get spotted very, very frequently. Massive mass of Magmadons. They are all on the back, though. I would like to see Captain Alex pull those Magmadons to the front, because there we go. A big engagement could happen here. Magmadon versus Magmadon. Tramples come down. Hellborns are still fighting. The Captain Alex is not engaging with his full force yet. The Gauns are on the back, and they barely don't have range because of all the Magmadons that are there. Big trample going down now. The Fiends are not going to last long in that entire trample. Now we see a big fight with the Magmadons. If Captain Alex still has Magmadons with trample, this would be a perfect time to engage for it, but the defensive structures and positionings of Lizzergas are absolutely brutal here, and pushing back another big wave of tramples, but those tramples are going to be off for quite a while now. The cooldown on them is going to be more than enough to warrant staying back and not engaging just yet. In the meantime, the Hellborns can rain hell from above in that high ground. We'll have to see then the engagement as the Gauns move forward. The cooldown is probably off on the trample, and a Flay Dragon is going to join the picture in just a moment. But it needs to join it now, You need those infest and that push to keep going. There is a trample to kill the brutes and the remaining guns that are around here. A good infest, but the Transcend towers are just so powerful at denying the area here. The Hellborns have to siege them down somehow, and now the Fiends are doing their work as well. This might be GG for the side of Lizzergas, as Captain Alex is just rolling through the base. He's gonna be getting more and more powerful without the Hellborns, and he GG's out.